Now we come to the third part of the video, and this part covers a very important part of the empire, which is the administration. So, what was the administration basically under the Mauryan Empire? So, the first point is that the administration was divided into four provinces because to control such a great empire, it was merely difficult to just sit at one place and see all of the vastness of the empire. So basically, it's a very good idea. It was a very good idea for the rulers at those times to divide the empire into small provinces. And in this aspect, we see the Mauryan empire is divided into four, which whereas the first part was divided in the east, where the region was headed in Tosali. The second part was divided in the west, where the region was headed in Ujjain. The third part was in the northern area in Takshila. The fourth part was in the Suvarnagiri area, which was in south. So पहले तोशाली में था पूर्व की तरफ, पश्चिम की तरफ था उज्जैन में, उत्तर की तरफ था तक्षशिला में और दक्षिण की तरफ था सुवर्णगिरी में. So basically the empire was divided into provinces which were ruled under governors who were often royal princes. Provinces were further composed of towns and villages in their own personal administration, which were divided into district and village administrations. So the rule was like this, that the head of the provincial administration was basically a royal prince. He was known as the Kumar, who governed the province as the king's representative. So एक royal prince होता था जो राजा के बिहाफ पे रूल करता था एक province पे. And the Kumar was assisted by a council of ministers who were known as Mahamatyas. ठीक है, तो कुमार को असिस्ट करते थे उनके मिनिस्टर्स के काउंसिल. एंड the organizational structure or the main head was basically ruled by the emperor with his मंत्री परिषद or the council of ministers. So पहले एस्पेक्ट में हमारे पास एक कुमार होता था जो किंग का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव होता था प्रोविंशियल लेवल पे, जो कि प्रोविंशियल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन संभालता था. फिर उसके बाद वी हैड द काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर्स हु यूज्ड टू असिस्ट द कुमार्स, एंड द मेन और द इंपेरियल लेवल वाज रूल्ड बाय द एम्परर, एंड he along with his council of ministers was responsible for all the main affairs which were happening at his own area. And we get to know more of this from different coins because the Mauryans established a well developed coin minting system. And जो मौर्यस के कॉइन्स थे वो बेसिकली सिल्वर और कॉपर से बनते थे. उस टाइम पे गोल्ड कॉइन्स भी सर्कुलेशन में थे, एंड कॉइन्स वर यूज्ड इन द मॉडर्न एम्पायर बेसिकली बिकॉज ऑफ ट्रेड एंड कॉमर्स. So this was basically a simple part of how the administration was ruled, and we get to know most of this from the accounts of अर्थशास्त्र एंड मगस्थनीस, जो कि एक ग्रीक एम्बेसडर थे जो चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य के रेन में आए थे. हमें उनसे पता चलता है. So it is also believed that there was a well mentioned municipal system, and there were 6 commissions or boards which were set up by the emperor to look for the well-being of the city or to govern the city. So क्या होता था कि the first board fixed wages and looked after the provided goods and all over there. The second board was basically responsible, or it used to look after the arrangement of foreign dignitaries or foreign ambassadors and all, tourists, businessmen, and all those who came for trade and other activities. So the third board was responsible for records, statistics and all. The fourth board, which basically looked after the goods sale and manufacturing and all. The fifth board was also responsible for regulation of trade and how to issue licenses to look at how trade was going on. And the sixth board collected sales taxes. तो ऐसे ऐसे इन्होंने 6 बोर्ड्स हैं, 6 बोर्ड्स को ऐसे ऐसे इन्होंने काम पे लगाया हुआ था. So this was basically a rough figure of how the administration was working at the time of the, so basically the time of the Mauryas. Now the part where we discuss on the most important aspects is the army. We all know the fact to maintain a great empire, a huge army is required. Resources have to be collected, resources have to be distributed, and a huge number of infantry, cavalry and all were required. So Mauryan empire was no different. To maintain a good and well balancing army is very important. At the same time, it is very difficult also. So we don't know much from other sources, but Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador, mentions that the Mauryan army consisted of 6 lakh infantry, 30,000 cavalry, 8,000 chariots and 9,000 war elephants. अगर आपको याद होगा मैंने लास्ट वाले वीडियो में जब चंद्रगुप्त मौर्य की बात की थी, तो मैंने उसमें बताया था कि सेल्यूकस निकेटर के साथ जब वो ट्रीटी में आए थे, तो उनको 500 एलिफेंट्स गिफ्ट में दिया गया था, और बाकी वॉर इक्विपमेंट्स वगैरह भी। ये भी एक जरिया होता था अपनी आर्मी को इंक्रीज करने के लिए। वेन एवर दे यूज टू डिफीट अ किंगडम, or whenever they used to go forward, and make any other kingdom their slave or anything, they used to collect the infantry and cavalry for them. This was a main reason why the kingdoms which won so many wars used to grow bigger and bigger, because आप दूसरे के एनिमी से भी जब आप जीतते हो ना, तो उनकी जो सप्लीमेंट्स होती है, उनकी जितने भी रिसोर्स होते हैं, वो सब आपके यहाँ आ जाती है। सो सपोज यू विन अ वॉर वेयर द ऑपोजिशन हैज 20 to 30,000 infantry and almost like 4 to 500 cavalry. Those infantry in numbers and cavalry become yours as you have won the war, and you are the ruler now in their kingdom as well. उसके अलावा भी one of the great systems introduced by the Mauryas were the system of spies and intelligence. Spies and intelligence were there all the time in different parts of the empire, because they helped them to maintain both the internal and the external affairs as well. तो spies का होना बहुत जरूरी था, so that they could know, the king himself could know what wrong or whatever was going through the empire, ताकि वो उसको और बेहतर कर सके, या he could know if we have any traitor in the kingdom. So this was regarding the administration and the army. And in the next part, we'll discuss the other important aspects of the empire as well as the decline of the empire.